It's always connected to secrecy, and you are sometimes secretly bound together by your secrets. People who hold secrets are secretly bound together. And the moment one person breaks the secret, it breaks the bond. And that can be part of the treatment that we talk about or remapping later. But it's thick because how do you disconnect from someone that you love, even though you're going to Pleasure Island inappropriately and you should not be going to Pleasure Island? How do you break that connection? Because in your mind, you may feel like, if I don't go to Pleasure Island with this person, I may not be able to go to Disneyland with this person, or I may not be able to go to summer camp church with this person, or I may not be able to play games or watch TV or go to the store and get candy or any of those things. So it kind of gets interconnected and it gets very convoluted and confusing because maybe you are starting to feel guilty about the Pleasure Island, but the relationship is so interconnected that you didn't know how to say, I think it's wrong to go to Pleasure Island with you. Pleasure Island is actually intimate island for married people, and pleasure is the result of intimacy. And so I'm learning, and I think it's wrong. A lot of people don't get the courage to report or to tell because of the Stockholm, you become connected to your abuser or your captor. And it's just confusing because your body is sending you the most confusing messages, and that your body is aroused and enjoying the pleasure. And so it's so confusing, and the directions are so confusing that it's hard to remap and go another direction when the motivation to go to Pleasure Island becomes so enticing and so motivating, because now we're looking at relationship. Now we're looking at preserving someone's secrets and their status and your status, and avoiding shame and avoiding breaking up a family and avoiding someone going to jail. So all of these things continue to draw you to Pleasure Island inappropriately. And not to mention, you have physical urges. Your body remembers touch, what feels good, massages, sexuality, all of that. And your body is indiscriminate. Your body doesn't say, this doesn't feel good because I don't like the person doing it. You have to really cognitively have master over your mind and say, I don't like the person doing it, so I'm going to be disgusted and grossed out and I'm not going to like it. But once you have allowed, or not knowing you have to do that, and it just happened and pleasure came with it, it becomes more difficult to master the pleasure response. So it is more difficult than we like to believe, and we want people to change. Just change. Why don't you just change? And you're perverted and you're this. And we don't understand how their brain has been wired for sexual immorality and perversion. We don't understand that, and it doesn't make excuses for it, because we do have to reroute and we have to remap if we're going to be healthy and if we're going to serve the Lord. But there takes sensitivity of understanding the years of patternistic behaviors and undoing these patterns and these core beliefs. Then you have core belief systems about it, because in order to keep going to Pleasure Island inappropriately, you start to bring ideas to your mind that, oh, it's okay, everybody does it. Oh, I'm just going to do it this one time. Or, oh, they really love me. Or, oh, it's just our little secret, our little game. So you make excuses. I can't help it. Or all of these things become thoughts that you use to beat back your conscience. It becomes the things you use to deal with the cognitive dissonance. You come up with excuses and reasons and promises and bargaining, like, I'm not going to do it anymore, and this is our last time going to Pleasure Island with this person. And it is that you are in addiction. Your brain is seeking to travel to an inappropriate, undisclosed location because there's something there for it. It is getting pleasure. It is getting connection on some level. It is, in many cases, repeating prior behaviors. And so it is satisfying the brain's desire to be in habituation and be in habit because you know what to expect in habit. We are creatures of habit. And then there's the pleasure component. And we start to, and you can use that as a place to relieve anxiety, a place to feel important and seen. If you're only seen and you only feel good during this trip to Pleasure Island, then now you add another wire together that I feel important. I feel loved. I feel seen. I feel cared for on this trip to Pleasure Island and on Pleasure Island. So there's many complexities. And that's why I said sex is not for kids, because it's too much to sort out. You got adults who can't sort out going to Pleasure Island with unauthorized sex because so many things start to happen. He paid me attention. He called me. He bought me a burger. He bought me a movie. He bought me a bag. He sent for me. All of these things become attached to the trip to Pleasure Island and what happens on Pleasure Island. He paid attention to me. I made him feel good. He made me feel good. And so that becomes the motivation to continue unauthorized sex and traveling to Pleasure Island. Y'all, I hope y'all can hear how difficult it's been. I've been rattling on and trying to help y'all understand how the love maps get vandalized and get so confused and you can't even understand or read it right, and you're just traveling by cognitive memory and you're going there and you don't even know. Right now, I could give you an example. I was traveling here and I'm in the process of relocating, and I have relocated, my first step in relocating, and I drove right past my exit because I'm on a new route, right? And I'm used to just driving or not driving. But in yesterday, more specifically, coming from church, I wanted my husband to turn right because that's where our home was. So we have memory and we just automatically want to go in that direction without being conscious of it. So when you're acting out and when you're getting to Pleasure Island and you're doing this thing, sometimes you do it even unconsciously. It just becomes habitual, and you don't even, like riding a bike, you don't even think about it. And so what I'm asking us to do in our next session is to think about, how am I getting to Pleasure Island, and making the decision of, do I want to keep going? How? And then for those of you who decide, I don't want to continue going there and having generational patterns of sexual abuse and taking somebody else there, because we're good at showing someone the way. Either we show them as children through sexual experimenting, playing house, playing whatever doctor, or we become adults and we feel like we need to show other young people how to get to Pleasure Island because we've been there, we go there, so we want to keep the dysfunction going. And sometimes we can't help. Like I said, it becomes a habit, but keeping the habit going. But this is an opportunity for us to decide, for you to decide, do I want to keep making this trip? Is there another island? Do I have to do this? Do I want my grandchildren, children, friends, and family to continue to go this direction? If I don't, I have to learn a different direction. And I have to become an advocate of a different direction. And I have to explore that and teach people that there is intimate island. And guess what, y'all? Pleasure is there. Pleasure, godly pleasure without remorse. The blessings of the Lord maketh rich, add no sorrow is there. It is there. And there is another path. There is another direction. And you get to change your inner sexual map. But the first step is wanting to. Well, actually, let me break that up. The first step is awareness. Anything I said to you today rings a bell. And I know it's a hard topic. You might have to breathe through it. But if we're going to change the condition and the abuse in our world and in our families and our nation, we're going to have to start looking at sex maps and how to remap them and understanding them. And while we understand them, we still going to call the police on you and we still going to hold you accountable. We feel sorry for your trauma, but this is a call to get help so that the police won't get involved and your family members won't get involved and you pay the ultimate price for traveling to Pleasure Island with children. This is a call. This is a call. If you want to have a healthy marriage and a healthy relationship, and you want to stop traveling to Pleasure Island and learn how to connect with your person. Because if you are addicted to Pleasure Island, you will go there with more than just a married person, your married spouse. The drive will be, I just got to get there. I got to get there. I got to get there. Even if I go by myself in masturbation, I've got to get to Pleasure Island. So Pleasure Island is for all of those who are operating in unauthorized sex. Not married to a wife, a male and a female, having sex with children, having same-sex encounters, having sex with animals. If I left anything out, you let me know. But that is all on Pleasure Island. Tell somebody, I don't want to go to Pleasure Island no more. And I don't want to go to Pleasure Island. I want to go to Intimate Island because there is pleasure, attachment, and healthy relationships there. God bless you.